Hello, good evening. My name is Sandra Jennings, and you are watching Passion Speak, where we give those with a passion a platform to speak. Tonight, we are speaking to a special gentleman. I say special because he's a cliche as far as entrepreneurials and entrepreneurial spirits and starting young. And I want him to share his story. He's successful, and I think you're going to love it. So, without further ado, Jeremiah Smith, entrepreneur and community activist and successful business person. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me, Sandy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just so happy you were recommended that I talked to you because someone inboxed me and said you got to talk to this person because they are a powerhouse. And I've known some of your work, seen some of your work, and I have a tendency to agree. But when I looked a little further, I was like, oh, he got a bigger story than I thought. So where are you from, Jeremiah? And when did you get started?
I'm from South Haven, Michigan.
South Haven, Michigan.
Yeah.
And so when you and I were talking earlier, you have been an entrepreneur for over 20 years successfully. And you have tell us how all of that started. I'm just because
So
everybody.
I don't know if I would say, successfully the whole time, right?
And whenever you're making advances, as far as I'm concerned, that's a success because you are not stagnant. So don't get it twisted.
I hear you. I appreciate that. Yeah. But no, I started grinding when I was about 15 years old, 16, getting ready to go into high school. So my 8th grade year, getting ready to become a freshman, I earned the nickname of Hustle Man because I was always selling something, whether it was old pair of shoes I owned or some new shoes. But I made a hit when Nelly came out with the song Grills. And one of my mentors, he was making grills in Ben Harbor and killing it. So I came to him. He was like, "Oh, you want a grill?" I was like, "No, show me how to make them so I can, resell them and make some money." Mm-hmm. And that was the first lesson I learned. He was like, "Well," he said, "the game is to be sold, not told. So it's going to cost you." I was like, "All right." So he charged me a couple $100 I had to scrape up to learn how to do it. But once he charged me that few hundred and showed me the process, when grills dropped, I made $10,000 and I wasn't even 18 selling grills to local doughboys, kids from high school, women that just wanted their fangs done. That was a big deal. And from there, I was like, "Oh, I got something," And I mean, you name it, Sandy. I done sold pop, where I used to work for this company and all their damaged product would go out to the trash and I would get as much as I can and sell it because they was throwing it away anyway. I'm like, look, right? So I was selling that product. And then I threw a lot of parties. I think I threw parties all the way up to about graduated high school, even after. And that's when I really like smashed my print into the ground from those parties because I was reaching Battle Creek, South Bend, Ben Harbor, Kalamazoo, and I had South Haven, Bangor, all the smaller cities.
What, house parties?
Yeah, it started in the house. My mom would let me throw these house parties. I would charge like $3 at the door. And then when it converted to adults, we raised the price to $5. And then of course I was a minor, but I was selling liquor too. I had a little connect. So, I was getting that going. And then one of the guys, he ripped the water line. We have that old traditional heating style water, reservoir type deal. Mm-hmm. So we was in the basement. So this girl was dancing on him and he grabbed a pipe and pulled it down and water sprayed everywhere. And that was it for the house parties.
Mom was like,
yeah, no more.
You ain't tearing up my stuff.
Yeah. But believe it or not, I used to make probably about $500-$600 at the end of the night on a house party, charging $2-$3.
As a high schooler.
Yeah. I
kind of in you.
Yeah, I was like, let's go. I used to inspire other kids in high school to throw parties, even adults. But they knew when I was throwing mine, that wasn't the day to throw theirs, So
that was the agreement, huh?
Yeah. But let me tell you a lesson about that.
Okay.
Throwing these parties, And I used to stand at the basement door and collect the money. But my mom had a big backyard, so it'd be all these cars, and I would walk through the yard once the door slowed down, and it'd be like 4 or 5 people sitting in the car. I'm like, y'all coming in? And they like, no, we just chilling. So I let that happen 2 times. And then at my mom's house, it was one way in, one way out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to catch them on their way in. So I stood at the end of the driveway, right? And they would pull up and say, oh, we just going to sit in the car and drink. I said, well, how many is it in the car? They're like, it's 5 of us. All right, well, it's $5 to get in the party, And I said, I got to charge each one of y'all $5. Because you're going to say, yeah, we ain't coming in. So I'll be like, all right, bro, give me $3 per person. So I get like $15 or something. The party get to going crazy. And then they would try to come in and I would remember. And I say, I can't let y'all, we paid at the entry. I said you weren't coming in, so you got a lower fee. And they'd be like, man. And they would try to fuss with me. And I would go, you know what? Listen, just give me $20. I'll let everybody in. So I was making a double up on them, you know what I mean? Because they wanted to get in because all the girls had made it in already. So, but that came from reassessing the business, like looking at it like how to expand my hustle. Because at first I was losing revenue. We would have 30 cars in the yard, easy. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but that was how I got my stamp. So then I started seeing my market of selling gold teeth to the people that was coming in and they would hear about it. And I basically did my right-hand man teeth for free because he always was smiling and talking and he just sent them right to me.
That's marketing funds right there.
He running around the party and they like, where you get the grills from? And they Jay hustle at the door and boom. It was just recreating that energy over and over and over, till it went crazy. But the time before then, we were I got my brother's old moped. My stepdad fixed it up for me. And I would rent it for $1 to do a block. It was a little reckless because I didn't really care how old you was. As long as you look like you can ride, I would, I do that about 50, 60 times a day, And that was my hustle,
So you were taking people on the ride or you letting them take it?
If they look like they can ride themselves, I'll let them ride it,
Oh.
And here's the funny part, right? Because it was some older guys that would take advantage of me. Because I was a youngster, you know what I mean? Like, let me go around the block. And I'd be like, all right, let them go around the block. But they didn't go around the block. They went on down the street to some girl house or something crazy. And they'd come back like 30 minutes later, and I'm purple. But what I'm going to do, I'm a youngster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my brothers had a reputation. They ain't play around. Then they would find out, that's John, them brother, leading them brother. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, when I tell my brother what you did, we're going to have real problems. Or you give me $40, bro, and we act like this never happened. I get it every time. So it came to the point where they just would give me the $40 up front to go run for an hour. I was playing basketball anyway. So it was just like, so that was a way to just keep it going, like reputation, right? Even
that's
though
this is true
reputation, yeah. Before we converted, but that's a couple of the hustles I was on. Forgive me if I'm talking too much. I'm just telling you.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because anybody who would catch this and wonder why, even at a young age, they got this hustle going. Well, if you feed it the right way, like I read your bio, if you feed it the right way, this could evolve into something profitable and something that can sustain you and pay your bills down the line. If you, and that's exactly what you did. I like how you did that. And tell us more, fast forward a little bit, tell us more about, once you started getting into a business mind and you wanted to be legit, not that the hustles wasn't legit, but you wasn't claiming it on your taxes. So no, that was small change as far as IRS is concerned. But later on, you took some steps to solidify your entrepreneurial spirit. Talk to us about that.
So I tell you what happened. I used to work nuclear. I was a nozzle dam tech installator, but I started off as a helper. So we would go around and do these power outages. And I got a job with this company, Radium Corp, and good company, good people. And one of the boss was in the room. I had to meet him at the hotel room because everything was mobile. So I went to the hotel room to get my check, but one of his guys signed in under the wrong TLD. So it's like a monitor that's regulated by the federal government on how much radiation you get. And if you hit a certain number of radiation, being that it's nuclear, you can't go in, or you need to spend X amount of time out of the reactor, blah, blah, blah. This is a big deal because it could kill you. So this guy went in under somebody else's TLD. And he was on the phone, I guess, with the nuclear feds or whoever, the regulators, and they were kind of going back and forth. And he was explaining to the guy that, you guys are fining me, and don't call me. It was somewhere upward of like $40,000 or something. I heard him reiterate. He was pretty upset. It may not have been 40. It was a big fine. He was going. And he was like, you only giving me $189 an hour for these guys. And I was like, hey, what you paying me? I'm like, we ain't even close. I'm like, so I heard him. I didn't say nothing. I got my check. I went back to my room and I was like, man, this ain't right. Like we got to figure this out, And, I worked for him a little bit more, but in my brain, I was like, geez, I got to figure this out, And I ended up leaving that company, working for another company for a little while. But the whole time in my head, I was like, how do I reverse this? How do I figure it out? So in 2010, the economy was real rattled. It was really shaken up. And I was like, well, what can I do at this time to make something work? And I didn't want to work for nobody no more. I had lost my job. My unemployment had ran short. And I was like, yo, I'm just going to figure out how to get this going. And believe it or not, Sandy, I called another lady named Sandy. She was mentor, music manager, because I make music as well. And, and she was like a mom. And I said, I want to start a business. I done went door to door, knocked on doors, asking people to help me start. I got a little bit of traction, got a couple job offers, but that's not what I wanted. And I said, I'm going to Chamber of Commerce, come with me. And she went with me, right? And I went down there to Chamber of Commerce in my little Easter suit and talked to another lady named Rachel. And I told her what I wanted to do. She was like, well, what are you here for? I said, I want to start a business, and I'm trying to figure it out. I don't want to work for nobody. And she said, you know what? We need like 100 more of you. I was like, what? So she started putting me on boards to speak with entrepreneurs, but I was an entrepreneur, giving me opportunities to meet entrepreneurs and so on and so forth. So I was at Andrews University on this board. And here's something I had to learn like quickly, because I was always defensive growing up, right? Being from South Haven, you got to be careful with that, because you can run into that. So we're on the board, and it's entrepreneurs, it's businessmen, and so on and so forth. And it's me, just a student at the time I was in college. And the guy goes, yeah, we want you guys to speak to what you want, what you need, what you're looking for. But I must remind you, and he kind of emphasized that, and he looked at me, this is not a place to ask for money. And I'm like, I ain't coming to ask for no money. What you looking at me for? You know what I mean? Like, maybe put me here to speak my truth. So they got to me after everybody was talking about they having a hard time finding employees, people work with their hand, and computer technicians. They was like, well, Jeremiah, what's your problem? I said, well, I have a hard time finding people to believe in my dream. I said, that's just what it is. And I said, I got all these great ideas, but just, nobody step in with me. And that was kind of it. But it was this guy down at the end to talk real smooth and cool. And I was like, man, I want to talk to him. But long story short, I didn't get to talk with him, but I seen him at another board. But this one I wasn't on. He was just talking. And his name was Dana Getman. So he finished up talking. He talked about how his company broke records and how they need people to use their hands and how to think and all this good stuff. He was just like, if you ever meet him, his energy just draw you in deep. So right after he got done speaking, I'm not sure if you're still there, Sandy. I don't see you anymore.
I'm here.
Okay. So right after he got done speaking, I chased after him. Boom. but I couldn't catch him because he went out some back door and I got stopped by somebody on the way to catching him, and they wanted to talk, but I didn't want to be rude. But I was really trying to catch him. But anyway, I bumped into a lady that gave me my first job. Right, her name's Teresa. And I said, "Hey, who's that guy with the slick hair and talk smooth? I'm trying to get." And she's like, "Oh, that's my boyfriend." I was like, "Shut up," I was like, "You think you can connect? I just want to,
Yeah, you got the plug right now.
Yeah, I'm like, "Help me out." She's like, "Yeah, I'll help you out. I'll connect you with him. No worries. I'll put it. We'll get it figured out." I was like, "Okay," and she did it pretty quick. I'm talking about within like days. She texted me and was like, "Here," he said, "call him at this number at this time, blah, blah, blah." So I called him and I was like, "Hey, can I just follow you around your business, figure out how you do business so I can learn from it and figure things out?" And he was like, no, but I'll meet you for lunch. I was like, "Oh, okay." So we went for lunch, and I kid you not, I'm a fast track this a little bit. We met for lunch the same day of the week, same time, for about 6 months. And it was all about like, who are you? What do you want to be? What's your visions? Blah, blah, blah. Like, he wanted to dig and understand who he was dealing with, and just going and going. Then it came down to what kind of business you want to run. I went from a coffee
Did you know? I got to stop you because I want to interject something. When you were meeting with him during that 6 months, did you know? Did you have a vision, or were you looking for someone to help you brainstorm?
I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I have no plan. Sandy, I was 22 years old.
So he helped you clarify your vision.
Yeah. He was helping me clarify the vision. He helped me understand who I was, like who what you trying to become, and he tested me. We didn't meet at I was 22 years old. He said, "We're gonna be here at 6 a.m." We was there early. Right. It wasn't no, "Hey, meet me at 11." No, it was, it was an early bird, and I kid you not, I came in late one time and he was like, he looked at me, he looked at his watch, and he said, "I'm not gonna be able to spend that much time with you today." And I was like, "Oh." But
That's your last time being late?
Yeah, I was waiting on him the rest of the time, right? But it was like, it was like, okay, let's not play with time. But he was helping me just understand. Now, I had no idea this man would later become my business partner. I just thought that he was giving me the game and helping me see through some things. And I was going back doing the work. But long story short, I was going to do a restaurant. Failure rate was high. I was going to do a coffee shop, but we couldn't launch at a premier time. And what led me to the laundry is like, I was raised in a laundromat. I know all about it. I know it's a necessity. It relates to my people. So we end up going with the laundry. And he presented some pretty sweet options for me, far as helping me grow the business and start it. He was like, I can give you the money. You do it, win, lose, or draw, you're gonna pay me back. It don't matter. He's like, "Well, we can be partners and we can figure it out together." So I was like, "Oh, we can be partners. Let's do this." And he was like, "Rule number 1, always take time to process what you're trying to do." He's like, "Just don't ever jump to the gun." Because he's like, "You don't understand the details of the partnership. You don't understand it. You haven't even asked me. What does it look like?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
but I was like,
fresh.
Yeah, but he was breathing on me, and I was appreciative of that. So we ended up starting that business, and now I own the Coin Laundry.
So you got just the one property, the Coin
Laundry? Yep. And then I got the commercial cleaning services, which is on the same property. And
so let's let's talk about your commercial cleaning and the story behind, like the aha moment you had for starting that business.
Well, it originally started with this lady used to come into my laundry and wash a ton of clothes, and it was like commercial clothing. And she would spend like $300, and I wanted to know what was she cleaning, but I scared her, and she never came back. Right? Because I didn't understand what she was doing, and she was trying to protect her business. But I'm telling you, I can't make this up. My mom got sick. She was at Waterville Hospital, and she had like immune disorder where the doctors was trying to figure out, like, she gets sick she at the time would get sick very easily. So the doctor would touch the cubicle curtain, come in there, touch my mom, walk out, close the cubicle curtain, hit the sanitizer on the way out. My little nephew came in there, ripped the curtain back, gave my mom a hug, you know, did the arm swipe with snot, grabbed the curtain, pulled it, you know, and I'm like, this not making sense. So the nurse came in. I said, when the last time y'all cleaned that curtain? And they couldn't answer me. They was like, oh, you know, and I had that moment. Boom. So I went to Western, met with John Schmidt from the Small Business Technology Center, and said, can you put me in touch with like a development team? I want to do some research on the cubicle curtain. And long story short, we got in front of the seniors and juniors for their final project. And basically, we did a study on the infection rate of the cubicle curtain and how often it should be cleaned and how do you clean it and what's the process. And, you know, and come to find out, it costs billions worth of dollars of infections that the hospital have, where people come in. You may come in and get a simple arm surgery, and if you leave with a disease or a bacteria that you didn't come with, the hospital has to pay for that, and their insurance does not cover it. Now, I don't know if that's still true today, but that was a cost directly to the hospital, and the cubicle curtain was one of those effects. So while doing that, I ended up, that lady that came in that I scared off wanted to get out of her business, and she ended up selling it to me. So I bought her business while studying the cubicle curtain, finished the study at the cubicle curtain, took it to a few hospitals, and I ended up landing a contract with Bronson Hospital just off my presentation and study, which led to a few other different things. So it took a whole semester, but at the end, I mean, when you kicking facts, I had a case study that I was going around presenting that was catching traction. I even got smaller hospitals, smaller, you know, doctor offices and stuff like that. So that's how I got into that whole commercial deal, and then start going to conventions and meeting people that's in the commercial business that was there at a high level. And I'm saying, yo, I want to do exactly what you're doing. I want to grow my business that way. And they say, okay, well, what size account you got? And I'm like, none. And they'd be like, oh, okay. You know, some of them say he crazy. The others be like, this dude's ambitious. I don't care. And that's what I was doing. So I just tried to stay in the mix. Like, I was like, if you doing it and processing at this level, then I know I can do it too.
Right.
You know, I'm like, there's no rules that cap our ability. We do that. So
right,
going down there knocking on the doors. What you gonna do? Tell me no? I've been hearing that my whole life. Right? Like, come on, come with a better word. Like, seriously.
So there's another tip.
Yeah, it's like, nah.
Keep hearing no. I got a comment. Danielle dropped in. I'm so proud of my brother.
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah.
Thanks for watching, Danielle. I know he appreciates you.
Yeah, for sure. So, but
so,
it was like,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just
hear more.
So it's like, no, don't wait for. Ain't nobody giving us permission to be great. That's a choice. It's the hardest choice ever. Because you're gonna have because the brain is designed just to protect you, shelter you, feed you, you know, and keep you safe. And in entrepreneurship, you got to jump out and get a little crazy, and you might hurt yourself. And the person you might love might hurt you even more, because now they're telling you, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Because the average mind is just want to be safe, right? Mm-hmm. You know, if I could save a little bit, put something up for a rainy day, because the rainy day coming. And, you know, as us entrepreneurs, we always in the rainy days, it seems, as a sense, you know, but it's like, I wouldn't have it any other way, you know? I mean, you got to fight like hardcore. But anyway, go ahead, Sandy. I was going on my tangent.
You went off, and I love it, because you're dropping nuggets. Because it's just not, you've been doing this for 20 years, definitely your laundry service, and that's been a good 10 years at least, right?
Yeah, it's been 10 years. Yep.
Yeah, that's just a testament. It doesn't happen overnight. People think that you getting in the business, you proclaim, you launch your business, and in 6 months, if it hasn't turned around, okay, now you're gonna quit. Well, you got to keep going.
And, you know, and I like to speak to that, because it's like the power of perception, right? Right. We had this talk all the time. As an entrepreneur, people may see you richer than who you truly are, or they may not see you richer than what you portray yourself to be. I'm real enough to let you know I did both. I done played richer than what I was, and I done played broker than what I truly was. And one of the main things that I found out that worked for me, hey, and everybody is just be authentic,
Just be
right?
you.
Yeah, because like, what you gonna do? I learned that from my brother Lee. My brother Lee, he's like a father to me, right? But I used to ask him, like, like I said, man, you kind of straightforward, man. It seemed like you have a filter. And he was like, no. He's like, no. I need to say what I feel to the person if they ask my opinion, so I can sleep at night. Otherwise, I'll be thinking I shouldn't have said this, or I should. And he said it kind of keep me up. And I said, you know what, bro, I'm gonna adopt that. So like I want to bring that in. And that was like, but that's being true to self, right? I mean, he not running around offering his opinion to people. If they ask, you better be ready. Right? You ask.
Yeah.
But like that, I mean, that's the operating, like,
absolutely
part of my operating system. You know what I mean? So shout out to me.
So tell me the story. It's not like that's all you got going. You got a little something else going. Tell me the story of this new thing you've been working on since the pandemic.
Well,
can you talk about
I can't
it?
really speak to it because it's in a sensitive spot right now.
Okay.
Right, but let me tell you what the pandemic did. Okay. Okay. So the pandemic isolated me, and I had to become ambidextrous really quick. So March 23rd, 2020, the shutdown was announced. All of my employees quit via text message the same day, except for one. Now I was able to recover and get through it, but what it forced me to do was operate in a different system. Right? So now my commercial space open and close, and my coin laundry, it open and close by itself. It's all on timers and automations and all this stuff. And I only use the people when I need them. Right? And believe it or not, we took a dip in sales, but we are starting to see projections of it going in the right direction. And we had reduced wages, through the pandemic. So we were able to see the curve and ride the wave, and it helped. Actually, say things go back to normal, I don't think I'm going to change my operating system. And this could double us up. And in the textile world, you remember there was a shortage on isolation gowns.
Right.
So, a little history. Most hospitals use disposable isolation gowns. One use, and they throw it away. The isolation gowns came from China. So when the pandemic hit, it was hard to get them.
Okay.
Now, back in the day, before disposable isolation gowns, it was reusables. That's back on the table now. They're like, wait. Maybe we shouldn't have went so much to disposables, because now, like, there were surgical towels that were disposable. Now they're back in looking back at the reusable. So what it did for me was it helped position me as a specialty commercial wash to be able to do these smaller items. It put me in the right position to be able to service my customers fast and quickly. So it shifted the business a little bit. It was good though, because like everything that I can wash or provide and reuse is good for the business, and it provides a level of security to the customer. So that's kind of where, that ordeal went, like with the whole pandemic.
So you were telling me you did not go to college the traditional way. After you started your business, then you went back to college.
Yeah. I went and quit so many times. I mean, like, I'm telling you, let me tell you, anybody that's watching and they going and quitting, keep going. Your degree don't tell you how long it took you to get there. It just don't quit. Like, I went from full-time student to part-time to quarter to one class to not even going to, I felt this pressure that I needed to match my peers and graduate with them, but that wasn't for me. And, I had some obstacles. I remember getting ready to go to college. I was going to go to Full Sail, university for music business. My grandmother was going to help me out. I sent off my FAFSA papers and all that stuff at the local liquor store because we didn't have a fax machine at home. And this was 2005. And on my way home, a friend of mine called me and said, "Your house on fire." So it halted things for me. And it was, the house was a total bust. So I was like, oh, I got to stay back home and help, So that halted it. But it was one of those deals that, I still could have went, right, and just kept it moving. But, I had to shift. Everybody's story different, that relies in your own mind. Don't feel pressure to run to college. I think college is an awesome thing, though, but you got to go for what you love. Like, I went for business, marketing, and management. So when I finally got to the courses that I wanted, the business courses, it was like, oh,
that's what you've been waiting for, huh?
Yeah. And I failed business law twice. So, but it was like, okay, we're getting to it. So it was actually fun, but by the time I graduated, hell, I've been in business for 4 years. I had my coin laundry, I hadn't even started my commercial side yet. So just getting started, actually. I take that back. So
you've been named Entrepreneurial of the Year. Yeah. You've been given a key to the city.
No, it was a proclamation. I would say it wasn't a key. Yeah.
Proclamation. Proclamation. The city of South Haven, because you made an impact with your board work and mentorship. Did I read somewhere that you hire felons? Former felons?
Yeah, I do. I do hire felons. So I used to work with a program that hired felons. They dissolved the program because if they would pay for it. But I was like, these guys really ain't that bad. So I hire felons under certain restrictions, And actually, to be honest with you, I found a newfound love for this whole thing because after doing what I was doing, being in business for like 9 years, right? I became a felon myself just in 2020, for growing medical marijuana and some other bull, you asked me, behind it. I'm not sour about it anymore. I leaned into it. So, as you know, medical marijuana is legal state, but it's illegal federal. And that's how I acquired my felony growing it. That's the short and sweet answer. After experiencing what they put felons through, it made me draw in a new passion because I'm like, well, here I am on my own business, successful somewhat, right? What you want to call like, not squeaking for nothing or, I have means of transportation. I think clearly, and I don't do drugs, right? That was the hardest probation period execution. And I was like, geez, imagine somebody without the resources. What would happen to them? And I struggled with it. So one of my goals now is to not fix the system. That's not the goal because it's broken for a reason. Is to provide the mental token to the people that are going through this program on how to beat it. Because the only way I got past it, I knew it was a game. Like I reported. I was on a strict probation. I reported every day, every single day. Now managing a business and reporting every day, it starts to wear down your mind. It's all about tearing down the brain slowly, right? And how I was able to get to it was I had some great mentors, and then I had accountability partners, like 3. They would randomly call me. Hey, you report today. Okay, just check it. Holding me to the fire. Don't let them beat you at this game. And all of this was applied to this particular organization. Then I was able to walk away and start really applying it to business, life, self-improvement. I mean, just narrowing it in, right? Because I'm gonna throw a couple things out. It's easy to get in trouble, right? It's easy to fail. right? And it feels like success is so difficult. We spend more time thinking about how difficult it is. And then when we become successful, we bask in it for a little bit. And then we go right back into that negative thinking. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But who wrote a book and said that it had to be that difficult? I had to change my mind to change my actions to change the result.
Right.
You know, some of my mentors was like, hey, it's done. You got the felon. Push that to the side because you running around boohooing. And I don't see that. When I meet you, I look at you, I don't be like, oh, this dude got a felony. You can't see that.
Can't see it, huh?
Right. But being able to be a part of the experience, it helped me understand some of the guys that I may hire or the women I may hire. And it gave me an opportunity to shift their defense levels because I had it. Right. So I want to shoot this one directly to the people that had a felon or feel like they at the end of the road. Oh, don't quit, bro. If you're a woman, don't quit. That's an invisible scar tatted into the mind that you just got to keep erasing and washing. Don't quit. For what? Right? Keep fighting. You know, it's a part, lean into your history because maybe you can help somebody else not make that same mistake. You know?
And I don't say that God ordains any particular act, but it really feels like God ordained that for you to
Yeah.
give you some compassion and some empathy.
Yeah, definitely. Because I took a strength finder test, right? To understand my strengths and this and that and the third.
Mm-hmm.
Empathy was dead last.
Really?
Dead last. I have to take it again because I don't think it's there anymore. But
I think you gained on the empathy.
right, but it was dead last. Like I used to, I'm not gonna lie, you saying that I was that type of dude. I didn't have a lot of room for excuses, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you know what? It's a different process. You know, it's a different way to think about things. You know, so I
Hold
mean,
on, we got some comments.
yeah.
Tyler B. Jeremiah, what's up, bro? He
What up?
hollering at.
What up, though? That's what's
Thank you for
good.
watching, Tyler.
Yeah.
And then we got another one, Linda. Hey,
Oh,
Linda.
hey, how you doing, Linda? Yeah.
Linda's a friend of mine. She's a
Okay,
sweetheart.
sweet. That's good. That's real good. So, but you know,
Well, I appreciate your time today. And I
absolutely.
know you hustled home from work to get to this call, and I really appreciate that because I
No,
was sitting here
it's
waiting on you.
no, it's all good. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this. You know, this is the opportunity.
You do motivational speaking and called out to the colleges and schools
Absolutely.
for just this kind of talk. And honestly, having a felony, regardless if it's warranted or not, because it is warranted on the federal side, but not warranted on the state side,
Mm-hmm.
which is another reason why we got to change that on the federal level. But anyway, that's another
Yeah.
conversation. But I think that lends a huge credibility to your story because fellas, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like
And
you don't need advanced degrees. You got your degree as you wanted to, probably over the span of years.
yeah, it took me years. I went to school right when I got out, quit early. It took me years to get my degree. But look, you can't look at me and tell me it took me years. You can't look at me and tell me that I'm stupid.
Right.
You can look at me and say that, but I don't believe that. You know, and 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 and, and, and trust me, with the whole felony thing, mine came late. This wasn't like I had came out of high school and got into some trouble. This came late. So I was falling. But the beautiful thing behind it, when you fall and you get to see who actually gonna stand there and catch you. Because that's one of the biggest things for me as an entrepreneur. I will offer myself to anyone that was willing to open their mouth and say something without a barrier. There were no steps. I would run with you the whole way, even if you weren't running. Having the emotional intelligence to understand how to stair step it was the greatest gift I earned from that. If I would have never met my partner at 6 a.m., it wouldn't matter. well, we wouldn't be on this Zoom talking about my laundry, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wasn't honest with them about what I experienced growing up and how I grew up, what if I just lied about everything like I had it together, right?
Right.
You know, some people be like, fake it till you make it. I'm like, I used to think that way. I'm like, nah, it's too hard to fake it. This is what it is, bro.
Just
Right?
be real.
Yeah, this is what it is. What are you gonna do? You know? Like,
Yeah.
come on, like, let's go. So I mean, I'm excited. So this is why I'm speaking to you about that, like this way. Like it's destined. Like I wish you could see my office. I got a whole grease board full of goals. Right?
Ooh.
Like
Writing it down.
yeah, all the
Write the
time.
vision, make it plain, huh?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? It's just that's what I do, right? It's like, come on. Like, so if you struggling with the belief, wash your mind continuously with motivation. It's just like working out. You got to continuously work out to keep the muscles. You got to continuously eat good to stay healthy. The moment you slack off, the moment you feel the change, the moment you stop the motivation, the moment you stop believing, the moment you start hanging around the wrong people, you gonna feel the change. You know, and it starts with inside of you. You like, okay, you know when you don't feel right about something, you want to change the narrative. You want to move around it, remove yourself from certain people. And it may be painful, but it'll cost you more pain in the long run to stick around. Trust me. That's my spiel.
It's and there's more to your story that we haven't even touched on. But I do appreciate your time. We're gonna wrap it up because your time is precious. And hopefully anybody watching will take some nuggets away. Just yes. It's very encouraging for me. It is, and I appreciate your time. So I've been speaking with Jeremiah Smith, entrepreneur, community activist, motivational speakers. He's on Facebook. He doesn't have a strong media presence. We talked about that earlier. I think in the new year that might shift some because we talked. I need some more news. I need you to be posting news about germs on curtains in hospitals and even veterinary clinics, and so how you can affect that change. You know, there's a lot out there to be had, and I love that you're in that industry and that you got that Bronson contract. Get it. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Sandy.
Okay. Yeah. Love you, and thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Bye. Thanks everyone for watching.